Okay.
We can read some together.
If
For some reason I lost my memory, what's the first thing you tell me about us?
I go.
Yeah, you go. Hi everyone, welcome to your Feel hashtag
Figuring it out.
Welcome to another episode. How are you feeling?
Excited. I think it's a really dope episode that's coming up.
Oh, and we are in the month of love.
Yeah, in Feb. I'm so excited.
Are you feeling much love, Amango?
I'm really got to.
Lakini tunajustita so
Achana na
people
mimi,
kama
yes,
sisi
yangu.
ndio tunafaa kuongea.
Easy episode yangu.
But anyway, welcome to your Feel. Welcome to another episode. I am super excited on the episode that's coming up.
Yeah.
In the month of love, and on this episode you're going to be covering
Love. It's a love edition, similar to what we did last year.
Yes.
We have a couple coming up, and then just taking us through their journey. And I hope you're prepared to just dive into their experience of them experiencing each other.
Yes, and the first love episode we did was with one boy. So make sure that you also catch that up and then come watch our second love edition for 2024.
Yeah.
Let's get into it then.
This is Norman and Monica. Welcome to our story and everything in between. Should we start?
Yeah, so just a bit of context for the audience. What's in front of us is like pieces of paper. So we will explain to you our story and everything in between through the questions posed on the pieces of paper. So I'll start the first one.
Let's go.
Yeah. Love is. I think that's the first question.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to start?
No, you start.
Okay. Yeah. So love to me is endless. I say this because as human beings, you always have highs, you always have lows. There are days you're sad, there are days you're happy, there are days you want to be alone, there are days you want to have your partner. And when you have somebody who's always there for you, they're with you through all the seasons. So you can't get that from anyone else other than somebody who you really love. So that's my definition.
Yeah. I think something I can add to your definition before I say mine is also energy is contagious. What this means is sometimes when you're in a relationship or a long-term relationship, you can find yourself like when your partner is sad, you're also sad. But what we've kind of been able to learn with each other is you have to allow your partner to go through it. You can only support when you can. For me, what love is taking turns. What this means is I think we are able to balance between who is a plant and who is a gardener. So what this means for us is that at any one point, you find one person needs more support than the other. So it's very important to identify who in that case is the plant and who is the gardener. Yes. The next question is, how does the way I love you represent your definition of love? Ta-da. So, how does the way I love you represent your definition of love? I think the way you love me is unconditional, and how it represents my definition of love is because I also believe in love carries no judgments. So you can't love me maybe because the first time I looked really good, then you don't look good at night when you're waking up. Like it's a transition. And I believe that your person still sees you as beautiful even when you are your most raw. And I think that for me represents the way you love me.
Yeah, I think for me it's the same. But maybe just to add on to that is it's raw, It's like there are things about me that most people don't. And also coming back to the point you mentioned about energy.
Yeah.
I think when I'm with you, it's my childhood comes out. I'm so free with myself, and for me that's a quality that I really appreciate that you actually, for me, that's how I would say love is. I'm just myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that. And just to add on, I feel like what's really worked for us is that we're able to amplify our childishness around each other, and that really keeps things fun and light, because I think life is so complicated.
Yeah.
So just finding a person who you can, even if it's such a a weird situation, you're still able to be fun and light. So yeah. All right, the next and last question: how do you think we see love differently? How does that affect us? Like to go, or should I?
Let me
Go then.
go. I think we usually very what's the word? We usually look at everything. So we I think for us is more also intellectual. We are really we like also intellectual lovers. So in terms of we like to dissect each and everything and look at it from a whole different spectrum. And the thing also is we are different in the way we view things, and we are able to harmonize all that and actually come to a conclusion that if we are in this particular scenario, looking at even, let's say, our parents, how their love is or their marriage is, we know what we want and what we don't want, and we're able to draw boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I think how we see love differently and how it affects us is, I think we're not too keen on the destination of love. So I'll say for most people, the destination of love is marriage. I think for us, we're more keen on the journey of what we will learn together, what things we discover about each other and the world. And I think we don't really allow for society to tell us what we should be. And I think we've just like all the time, like when I function and you're like, this is Norman, he's my life partner. Like, just say it's your fiance. And I'm like, no. We are life partners because we believe that that's the most fitting definition for us. Yeah.
Nice.
It's your turn to pick number 2 up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, we are not going on in sequence.
Oh, easy.
We bring some chaos sometimes.
Yeah.
How has our relationship evolved over time? Continue.
How has it evolved over time? So I think I'll touch a bit about solving conflict in this question, because I think the first stage of any relationship is when you fight, immediately you're thinking about the exit plan, and I think that's the first stage of evolution, by knowing, you know what, we are beefing or we're in a conflict, but I really want to stay and work it out because there's no other person I believe is better suited for me. Yeah, so I think that was the first stage for me, that it showed evolution. Another way in which I think we've evolved is, as you said in the previous question, that we both have different ways in which we view the world, but being also able to sit down and truly appreciate each other's view, I think also for me is how our relationship also has evolved, because you find we pick from each other the strengths of our points of view and now combine to make now such an amazing perspective or way forward. Your turn.
It's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I think one thing I can say how our relationship has evolved over time is we've known how to package things to each other during the hard times, or even during disagreements, as you are saying.
Yeah.
We've known how to actually portray what we are feeling in a kind manner, even if it's anger, even if it's a happy time.
Yeah.
We know what, let's say, one of us is sad, what will uplift them, how to package things. If you're having issues from both our family sides, we know how to actually, come together and just package everything.
Yeah. I think I'd love to add a point to your amazing point of view. Is I think also how we've evolved is knowing when to bring up certain topics or issues, because I think most times or most people, you don't really spend the time to ask yourself, okay, fine, you have this burning conflict you want to raise with your partner, but are they in the right mental frame to actually receive it? Because that makes all the difference between the conversations to be had. And the question is also, I think, to show like how you feel like it will evolve, is even though that thing is so pressing, the conflict, sometimes if something bigger is happening, we can push it to the side and revisit it. Yeah, so I think that's also what's really like helped us.
And also, I think also, as a guy, I always quick to jump into solutions. Let's say when you're having a tough time with something, but sometimes you just want somebody to just listen. You want to rant without any solution in mind, just
Exactly,
So I think that's at the beginning it was quite hard for me because I'm solution oriented. But over time I've learned when to step in, when to
All right.
And next.
Ooh. Tell me our story of how we met and initially attracted you to me. This one you have to go first. This one, let's be here.
Did you do
no?
I think the first time I actually saw Monica and Sing was, so we had gone for a party. I think we were pretty young back then. So we actually neighbors. So we grew up from two different estates neighboring each other, but we never talked. It was just, oh, hi, good. But on this particular day, I think there was a party. So we were going, I saw Monica dancing, and there's a time when time just slows down. And I was like, wow, this never happened to me. But I didn't make a move or anything. I think I was shy. But I saw her and I was like, okay, this is a really beautiful girl. And I think what attracted to me was how free you are. And also there's a certain energy you have in a room that makes everybody drawn to you. But that's my version. But maybe now you tell them your version.
So for me, my version was okay. So as Norman just said, like me and him are neighbors, like direct neighbors, and we had never really talked. So for me, how I got to know about Norman is his cousin called Michael was a friend of ours. So you find that Kina Norman always had parties at their place because their parents were abroad and everything. So I used to just wonder what the hell is going on. Two guys, parties all the time. They must be living the true bachelor experience. So given like Michael and us were close, we'd always be at Kina Norman's place. And Norman would not even give me the time of day, by the way. I would go there and find he's on his machine coding. I'm just looking at him wondering what's going to happen.
I was trying to code my into your life.
Oh, maybe then. But so it began off, I think for me, of course, he was like this super attractive person. And to add on, like him not giving me the time of day really bothered me. Because I was trying to be your friend and to get to know like what you're about. Because also you seemed like very focused about like whatever is going on or about maybe your machine. I really didn't know if you were dating your machine. I was not so certain. But so what started happening is the more he kind of didn't give me the time of day, the more I was like, you know what? Let me also like move into the electronics area. So I remember one funny story was now Michael, I think, had told me Norman doesn't have a charger or something, or they kept on, because they were living in a bunk bed, there was no like charger long enough to like get his phone, like to charge his phone and still use it. I went and looked for the longest charger. The longest cable in an end to connect, not only his phone but to him. And I brought it to him. I think ever since that day, to be honest, he just realized I'm not going anywhere. The next day I came with Giveri. The next day I came with Mukimo.
And you're a really good cook.
Yeah. So eventually, Michael told him what I was doing. So at least he gave me the time of day. But I think from the time when he just saw what I was doing, it took like a month. Then he asked me to be his girlfriend, and the rest is history.
I must say though, the times you used to come and I was working on shirtless.
Ooh, that did not hurt anybody. Yeah, it didn't hurt anybody.
So it was a long game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I will say, I think once now we are able to acknowledge this form of attraction. I also really love the conversations on Snapchat. Shout out to Snapchat. Yeah. So yeah, that's our story. All right.
I think go again.
Cool. Number 3. Is there a specific moment you knew I loved you? Would you please share? I think I've shared mine. It's my cable and my Mokimo and my Gideri. Yeah. But I can do another one, but you can go first. Yeah.
Yeah. So many moments even up to date. I think maybe I would say the one that's most recent. So I think over the past few years, we've really, gone through a lot of things. And also now as we are becoming, full-blown adults,
Yeah.
life comes to us. Now we have to, family also, issues creep in. And I think the way you've embraced my family and all our dynamics and everything that comes with all that, what's the word? Can I pass it?
All the drums.
All the drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and you just being there without even me, asking you to do something, just being proactive. There's that kind of love, especially as being a very independent guy, and then you're just seeing like your partner, she's just steps in where she knows this is not, your strong place.
Yeah.
I think there's so many moments.
Yeah, I feel you.
But yeah.
Yeah. So, the specific moment I knew I loved you, I don't even know if I can pinpoint on any. But for me, I think how you show me love is through thoughtfulness. Like, for example, let's say he's in Sarit for a meeting, he'll bring me Planet Yogurt. I love Planet Yogurt, seriously. Or he's at House of Leather, maybe shopping for some things, bring me a teddy bear. Just, I think, small acts of thoughtfulness really go a long way. And I think you are not shy of thoughtfulness. So that for me, at the moments when I feel really cool. You're up.
When was the last time I told you I loved you?
It was. Yeah. I think okay. I think also to answer that question is yes, we always say we love each other, but I think for us actions speak louder than words. So I think we tell each other every day we love each other in different ways.
If I had, for me,
yeah.
Hey, my parents as in my family they love you. It's never been in our nature.
I feel you.
Yeah, but I think since we've been together, it's more natural. It isn't something you can't do. Even now with my closest friends, tell them I love you.
Yeah. And you guys hug through a handshake.
Our hands have evolved.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Next, 13. How do we support each other's goals and dreams? How do we balance that? start. I think one thing we are very lucky is that we are able to work so well together in different ways. Yeah, I think also we're very good at reading non-verbal cues, so you know when to step in and assist. Because I think our form of love is proactive as opposed to reactive love. So I think that's what us are about, and that's how we are able to support each other's goals and dreams. I think also to add on, we are able to hold each other accountable in terms of making sure, because I think part of support is making sure that actually they realize that the goals and dreams are done. So I think we do that diligently and in the best packaging we possibly can. How do we balance that? Well, I think it's balanced seamlessly. Yeah.
There's no formula.
Yeah, there's no formula. I think it's just knowing who has the plant, who is the gardener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also, we do work well together. I think for one, you really know how to structure things, how to plan out things, and drill them down to the smallest of issues, or steps rather. For me, my mind is always everywhere. Sometimes we can do this, you can do that, but you've known how to balance me and help me focus on what's important and when it needs to be done.
Yeah.
In terms of balancing, I think it's seamless. We Kitambo used to try, and maybe we should, have date nights on CG and it didn't work really for us.
Yeah, because we kind of figured you can't also structure love too much, then you miss out on it. Yeah, it has to be super organic. That if you want to go out on karaoke night, let's go. If you want to stay in and do a candlelight, let's do that.
If our energy levels equal that day,
then we're low. Yeah, we can't do much.
Yeah,
but also to add on, I think as you said that I'm good at structure, you're good at vision, because I think part of the reason why we are where we are today is because you're able to kind of see like this is where we need to be. And now I'm able to kind of come in and like break it down for okay, this is what, then how can we get there? Kind of a thing. It's your turn.
It's my turn.
Yes.
Hey, angalia eagerly. What do you need to hear more from me?
What do I need to hear more from you? No, it's because I'm not really sure. Like, I have a response to that question, because I think for me, I hear like, I don't know, I'm just an amazing person, so I don't think there's anything I really need to hear more from you, etc. Yeah. And you?
Tell me, I'm on that same level.
Yeah.
Come on, you're uplifting words. We usually do that.
Yeah, it's kind of dictated by the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
I think what we can do for the audience, and we don't want to cheat them out of a question, is we can answer another question for them. Let me phrase the question.
Okay.
What has been our craziest adventure as a couple? And what did we learn about each other?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I go first.
Yeah, you go first.
We've had a lot.
Yeah. Not those ones. Yeah.
PG.
Yeah, PG.
So, one crazy adventure. So there's a time we wanted to go out of town. Remember Naivasha?
Yeah.
So we knew the hotel. I think I've forgotten the name. Kongoni. That really dope resort, right?
Yes.
And then, so now the issue was how do we get there?
Yeah.
Because we didn't have a car or anything. So we booked out, what was the name of the... Swivel. And now Swivel, we thought, these guys will take us straight to the resort. And little did we know that they'll drop us on Nakuru, Naivasha, the highway.
Yeah.
And then from there it's for us to find our way.
Yeah.
So first tukapitishwa tukenda Nakuru.
Nakuru.
We're like, huku bana ni I think we've passed Naivasha. It seems like we are Nakuru and just about to. We're like, hey, should we tell the driver to stop?
Yeah.
Because we thought he'd know that we need to stop at Naivasha.
At the resort.
At the resort, exactly.
Yeah.
So tukasema, you know what, tushuke with our bags.
Yeah.
Tukapanda a mat heading back to Naivasha. Tukafika Naivasha in the highway, not even Naivasha town. Because we saw a signboard saying
Kongoni Resort, this many kilometers away.
We're like, asindio hiyo njia bus.
Yeah.
So we are late. And then what happened? There are no cars going in that direction.
Yeah, and actually, the only car we saw was like a Noah, but we thought the other Noah was coming.
Yeah.
So what is the pressure? Like, we look for the other one that looks a bit nicer than we enter because we're on vacation. Little did we know there are no more Noahs coming. Yeah.
So, did we panda the Noah?
No, we didn't panda any Noah. We just took a boda boda.
No, we pandered the Noah, then I go in Africa Resort.
Oh, yeah. It's true, yeah. Then we looked at that road.
That road in a town somewhere.
Yeah.
Then you're asking, now where is this resort? They're telling us you have to take this road, and it's now like a proper that road, Maram.
Yeah.
So you have to panda boda.
One boda boda, two people with about 1,000 bags on our bags.
And the boda guy was straight from carrying fish.
Yeah.
So how many kilometers did we go with that?
I can only remember we won that boda for 3 hours. No jokes, no exaggerations. 3 hours on a boda on a Maram road.
Our clothes must have had a linear session then.
Even my period started, like, I was under siege. Like, there's nothing I could do.
So finally we get to the resort.
Yeah.
Hey, my babes here, she's so mad. She's like,
I'm moody.
What's going on here? Hey, but after doing a resort, you are like, you know what? It was worth it.
Immediately we entered, it was like giving birth. You forget about all the worries you had. So yeah,
and I think that was one of the best decades we've had.
True. So the second part of that question was, what did that trip teach us about each other?
You want to go?
Sure. Yes. I think it just reinforced that Norman really is my calming force that I require, because I was losing my mind. My body even had given up. But I think, as I earlier said, the ability for us to keep things fun and light, I think, is what kept us going. Because we were just like, when again will we do this? After an experience. So I think we really buckled down, and Norman really kept us grounded. Yeah.
I think to add to that, I think that's one moment I can say really reinforced that there's nothing we can't go through.
Yeah. All right. That was for you, audience. Did you enjoy it? Wink, wink. But be sure to visit Kongoni. All right.
No ad there.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored.
Yeah. Next, what is a skill or value you admire most from me? Yeah, I can go fast. I think a skill or value, I think I already said the calmness. I think also, it fits into the calmness, but it's sometimes being able to be very rational when I am being super emotional, because many a times I think when something happens to me, I'm very quick to give an emotional response. So I think I always rely heavily on Norman on giving me a different perspective that actually ends up being such an amazing perspective that helps me now be able to navigate that particular situation. So I think that's one skill. And value, I don't know if being handsome is a skill, but I admire it. Yeah.
You want me to blush in the phone. I think I also touched on this one, is the way you're able to set up structures. But even beyond that, it's knowing that you're really good on what you think needs to get done, if something needs to be of high quality, it has to be of high quality, regardless of who's offering it. You'll drill down on them until it's the best way that it can be. And I think that's really a skill that I really value and I really appreciate, because you've taught me that I shouldn't just take any mediocre thing from anyone.
Yeah.
And I also shouldn't give out any mediocre work.
Word.
Yeah.
Next. I think I'll save this as like for the parting shots. Yeah, because I think that's a good one to close with. All right. What is one thing you need me to constantly remember or be grounded in this relationship?
No one got you.
Yeah, he does. That's your response only?
Yeah, simple.
To the point. What is the one thing you need me to constantly remember or to be grounded in? I think the one thing I will need to constantly remember is you can achieve anything you set your mind to. Anything you, I think, dream of it is achievable. There's no way in which you can think of something and you can't find a way to do it. So I think constantly remember that you're amazing and anything you want, you can achieve.
You give me a side.
Yes.
How does your childhood impact the way you show up in a relationship? I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. So basing on my childhood, I've always been independent and I've always known what I want. And before even I came into this relationship, I really knew the kind of partner that I'm looking for. Well, that time it has evolved over the period we've been together. But through that whole experience, I learned how one to become, and I think that's why during hard times I can still, remain calm. And I think it usually plays out well because there are days where you need that calming effect. There are days where you need some form of accountability in whatever we set out to do. And I think that has always come from how I grew up, how I was raised. And I think also in some way we kind of share a similar childhood. And that really also has enhanced our relationship in a way because we're able to understand each other's views, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The question again, I forget. It's
what is the one thing? Yeah.
So, how does your childhood impact the way you show up? I think for me in my childhood, one thing that was troublesome was finances. So how this has shown up in our relationship is that we don't shy away from financial conversations. We actually put it right at the center.
Yeah.
Because I have seen firsthand what that can do. So I think that's one of the examples I can give. But I think for me, any of the things I felt that needed change as a result of my childhood, I always put them at the center of our relationship because at least I want us to deal with things we can anticipate fast. Because life has so many other curveballs they'll throw your way. So that's, I think, a way in which the childhood has impacted the way I show up. I think something else also is, even though my childhood had its hardships, it also had a lot of moments I could borrow from, also from my mom. Because you find, for her, she really enjoyed hosting, service, cooking, the bringing together of people. So I think also touching on a previous question on, I can't remember particularly what it said, but when you're from a background or a childhood that was a bit traumatic, hard, also try find the positives because nothing is ever too great. There's always something you can always, I think, get. And I think for me, it's the service and the hosting that really I took out of my childhood and that I continue on till this very day. And I think that has really helped me in showing up in a relationship because I think, to be honest, sometimes people don't realize a couple is also only as strong as the community around them, who are also helping them stay grounded and keep each other accountable. So yeah.
It's something I had to compromise because I've never been people who loves to host.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I do get. And also, maybe a pro tip is for us, whenever every year begins, we usually have like a couple review and we go through finances, we go through, every topic that a relationship has, even sex,
Yeah.
we talk about that, and family,
Spiritual.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we try as much as possible to lay out everything on the table.
Yeah.
And also to set expectations from each other. So I think that's approach.
Yeah. And also to add on, at the end of like all those thematic topics, we also give each other general feedback about what the other person should do better the coming year. Yeah. So just a little pro tip for you guys if you want to carry that in not only your personal but also couple relationships.
Yeah.
Jacob.
That's a good one. How do we protect our relationship from external influences? I know you.
I go.
Yeah.
I think for us, we first and foremost, before anything, discuss with each other what it means for us. We don't at the spot, because you see, to be honest, family can be pretty demanding of, I think, when you reach an adult stage, which I don't know how we got there, because there was no notice, but I think before any one of us gives a decision to our families, we first talk to each other, and I think that has really saved us from many things. And I think in those conversations, what we're discussing is not really the pros, it's what we will not allow, to be honest. It's what are our boundaries. How do we make sure that this, rolling stone does not, catch up with us? Because sometimes it can look like that. And I think all in all, it's really helped us like overcome many things thrown our way. And I think that's how we're able to protect ourselves as a couple.
Yeah. Maybe to add on to that, also, we are really not big also on social media. So those, the social media people portray themselves, that really doesn't influence us, because we also like to look at the backstory. And for us, it's all about the journey. If there's something that, if we are looking at even our families, our friends, we usually know that for us, we have a vision and we have a plan towards our vision. And if maybe we get advice that helps us go towards it, we'll take it, we'll dissect it. If it makes sense, then we go ahead with it. If it doesn't, it's not for us.
Yeah.
So it's all about the discussion and coming up with our one kind of mind.
Yeah. And I will say, just for people who try doing boundaries with their family and it's difficult, it doesn't get any easier, but I think with time they get it. And I think you have to just keep on doing that boundary till they get it. Don't stop when it becomes difficult. If anything, I think transition has always like rocky waters. Nobody likes change. Because I think most times our families maybe can feel like, that's not the person who I knew. But that's not me. This is me. And you have to take me as I am.
And there are times to package things, and there are times to be raw. It's a no, it's a no.
It's a no.
It's
your turn.
I think it's yours.
Alright. We are clones. I think we touched on this, but yeah. What about this question is strange. Let me just say it again. How are we currently managing conflict? Are we still learning? What is one thing we are winning at when it comes to conflict resolution?
I think we touched on this a bit.
We did.
I think for one, still evolving. Because one thing being in a very long-term relationship is the individual, your partner will still evolve. So things that matter to them at a particular point might not matter to them now. So one is also for you is to understand the time that they are morphing into a more amazing person. And with that also comes, there are times conflict will come because with change there always is. But it's to remember that they are yours, that they are your partner, and you need to be humble and be kind with them.
Yeah.
And if there's something you don't agree, just know how to bring it out, and also as you mentioned before, the time to actually bring it out.
Yeah.
There's another point I think
I can go and you can go. Yeah. So I think for me, in terms of conflict resolution, if you go in with the mental space that you're not really going into an argument, you're going to have a chance to understand your partner better. Because I think people don't understand that even though you are each other's person, they're still allowed to have their boundaries. They're still allowed to have a different point of view. So it's so important to go with that mentality of, okay, maybe I really got set up, or I didn't really get that this was a boundary for them.
Yeah.
And when you go with that approach, I think that's actually worked for us. Then you come out understanding them a bit better, which really should be the end result of conflict. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know what you had to say? Yeah. Second last. What is something you would never have done if it wasn't for me?
Oh, this one. Hey. One, zip lining. Yo. And I think it was my birthday, I guess.
Yeah, it was.
So this babes organizes an activity outside, which I really love, sporty activities. But least did I know, if was it
Curator,
yeah. Not sponsored again.
Yeah.
And then zip lining. Then she goes first. Like, now as a guy,
you have no option.
I have no option, man. Akikwama huko katikati. What will I tell the parents?
Yeah.
So I did that. But beyond that, it's just to be courageous, because you mentioned if you have a vision, no dream is unreachable.
Yeah.
So that's something I can say that I've really learned from you. Just stick to your vision, stick to your dream.
Yeah.
And one day we will reach there.
Yeah. We should go again, declining.
Yeah?
We should go again. Anyway.
Before I'm out and skydiving.
No. That's what we're doing. So I think for me, the one thing I would never have done, genuinely, is moved out. Because I think I am those people who before me would see all the negatives. I was even I think telling this story to one of my friends yesterday. And I'm telling you, when you want to see the negatives, all of a sudden that's all you can see. Because I remember when we were moving out, I was asking one of my friends, where will I take a job from? There's even no, I've not seen any matatus here. That time my matatu is just passing by. But really, it's just the fear sometimes can get a voice of its own. And I think without Norman just being there and saying, we'll figure it out. Worst case, we have each other. Even if we're going to be on the floor, it's fine. We will still know how to figure it out. And I think that gave me the push of just being able to say, I have to just make this jump at some point, and I'm happy I did. I think something else is I think I really would not have worked on my relationship with my family if not for Norman's push, because I think for me, I am a big believer of if I put up boundaries and you cross them, I cross you. And Norman helped me see that is not healthy. It saves you from heartache, but it's a temporary fix. because family is forever. So I've really been so intentional with extending grace, which is not a strong suit of mine. So I'm grateful. All right.
Finally. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get it together.
If
For some reason I lost my memory, what's the first thing you tell me about us?
I go.
Yeah, you go.
I think we usually have our own language.
Yeah.
So if you just, say, if you're better at it than me, like, okay, you know yourself. Yeah, I think if you actually just used that quote unquote formed language that we usually have,
Yeah.
it's pretty hard to describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I would immediately remember that this is my person.
Yeah.
It does help that you were in drama, so you know how to, bring out everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, I don't know if I would. I think I would hope for you to remember, but I would want to also relearn the new you with the lost memory and make you like try fall in love with me all over again. Yeah. So that's it from us. We've been your hosts. My name is Monica.
This is Norman.
And we've been on the love seat. Thanks.
Ciao.
I'm still feeling from that episode. That was such an amazing episode. What are some of the lessons you took from that episode?
A number. Yeah, but I think I really liked their dynamics. I really like their energy together.
Yeah, like it rubs off
Yeah.
on you. Like you just feel like, maybe I just want to be in love now.
And it feels like they have a secret,
code
yeah,
towards each other, right?
yeah. It was really nice to see, and I think it just validates when you find your person. Not everyone understands. Like when you look at them as a couple, you're like, there's something about them together. It's like a secret. So not everyone will understand that, and I think it's a beautiful thing when you find somebody who just fundamentally loves you, values you, protects you.
Yeah.
And it's just your person, it's in your corner.
Yeah, and also we kept affirming each other that it's for the long haul.
Yeah.
So I think something that we are currently experiencing is a lot of short-term
contract.
And simple, not like committing for the long term, but I like the fact that it's a vision and they're working towards it. And that is so lovely to see. So I hope you have really gotten some nuggets. They even give a pro tip, by the way. So make sure that you listen to this amazing episode. Please share your comments with us on Instagram, on YouTube, and you can find us on social medias.
we_r_fear across all our social media platforms. We're very loud on Instagram, TikTok, and if you're looking for job opportunities, we also do that on LinkedIn. Make sure you hit subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, hit the notification bell if you're listening to us on any podcast platform.
Yes, and they also have a podcast, podcast called Taboo Listen. So you also plug it in on the comments. We'll post their link so that you can go and catch them up. Interesting conversations. Very wild conversation. Very interesting episode. Very interesting podcast. So thank you so much for joining us, and see you next time.
Bye-bye.